Okay, we're going to start. I'm going to do a countdown and we shall start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's get ready to rumble!
So this is the exam that was taken in November. I will be explaining things as we go. All right, not bad. This is one of the most frequently asked questions, and it's simply asking about what rights are protected in Grundloven. And in this case, it's the right to express yourself. However, there are questions, similar questions, but with different answers, right? So it's basically the same question, but it has different answers. So what I usually say is, go to the section of the book that talks about the rights protected in Grundloven and make a list of all those rights, because then you'll have it covered. But this is a frequently asked question. This has appeared in several tests. This is one of those questions that you're going to be seeing over and over again. So like I said before, the exam is made up of a mixture of frequently asked questions and questions you've never seen before. And then you've got the current affairs, and then you've got the Danish values. The current affairs follows a pattern. The Danish values also follows a pattern. And as we keep practicing, this pattern is going to reveal itself. So let's move on to the next one. All right, we've got P, Max, Vader, Bum, and Annan. 1 to 5. Next one. Monica. All right. 13 people got this wrong. This is a semi-frequently asked question. So in a previous exam, it came out as current affairs. So in 2021, which was when this Oscar was won, it was part of the current affairs, but this year it's part of history. So semi-frequently asked. On to the next one. Okay, just give me a sec. There's a lot of things going on in the background here. I have to let people in. Okay, so Max, P, Bum, Annan, and Easy. Top 5. Next one. This is also frequently asked. So Kanslergeld for Leo, this is 1929 up until I think 1933 was when the Great Depression happened. The Kanslergeld for Leo was actually, so it's the Kanslergeld settlement that was put together by Thorvald Stauning. He was a social democrat. He was the prime minister at the time. And it was to basically help with the economic problems at the time, because the whole world was going through basically the Great Depression at the time. I can see you guys are not doing too bad. Only 18 people got this wrong. So a round of applause. All right, so we've got P back at the top, Max number 2, Bum 3, Annan, Tanker 4. And Jin is the highest climber, up 11 places.
Perfect.
Next one. We're going to try to get through this quickly. Frequently asked question as well. Okay, so as you can see, right, we've done 4 questions out of 45. The first 4 questions, frequently asked questions. So you would have, if you have been practicing, you would have seen all these questions before, right? And they've appeared in all the previous exams. So that's what I was talking about it's not a hard exam. You know, you just have to apply yourself and practice. And if you practice, you're going to pass. There's a formula for this, right? So if the father's name is Frederick, then the first son's name is always Christian. And if the father's name is Christian, then the first son's name is always Frederick. So keep that in mind. Next one. Okay, this is good actually. So I can see more than half of you failed this. Only 20 people got this right. This question is a question that appeared for the first time ever. I'm not surprised a lot of you failed this. Okay, and this is an example of a question that you would fail if you didn't read the book. So the point is, get familiar with the frequently asked questions, read the book to cover the other gaps. In this exam, there were about 20 frequently asked questions, which you would have seen before if you were practicing, and about 14 questions that had never been asked before. And then, since they changed the rules, so previously up until 2020, up until 2020, 2021, early 21, right? Before they changed the rules, the exams were 80% frequently asked questions. So you could basically pass the exam by practicing the previous exams. But since they changed the rules, they reduced the number of frequently asked questions, increased the number of questions you'd never seen before, and then added the Danish values questions, of which if you fail more than one, you fail the whole exam. Anyways, on to the next one. You would have seen this before, frequently asked as well. All right, so if you don't know, get to know, you need to know the answer to this question. The likelihood of it showing up again is high. About 26 people got this wrong. We still have a lot of time. We have about 91 days. So yeah, on to the next one. Okay, so this is one of those questions where if you read the book, you would actually know the answer to this question. This is not frequently asked, but they do ask about the system change in 1901. But this one is specifically about the party that had the most prime ministers. The answer is Venstre. There's only been one Conservative People's Party prime minister. I've forgotten that guy's name, but he died recently. But anyways, on to the next one. All right, some people fell out of the top 5. Max is still at number 1, Blue Tomato 2, and 3. Annie is on fire.
This girl is on fire.
And Ava is just right behind her at number 5. Next one. Also, not so frequently asked. So you would have to read the book to know this. right, so in the previous exams, they asked about the women. This time they asked about the men. This is in, I can't remember the section of the book, but yes, you would have to have read the book to get this correct or guess. All right, there's a whole bunch of reshuffling happening. The top 5, Max is still at number 1. Moving on to the next one. This is frequently asked. So if you had been practicing with the previous exams, you would have come across this one. I can see about half of you got it right. So same number of people got it right that got it wrong. Well, now you know what you don't know. Get to know this. Max still number 1. Who is Max? Looks like we have a new superstar in town. All right, this is frequently asked as well. I think the Dansk West Indian was sold in 1917 to America because Denmark wasn't doing too well as a colony or a colonizer. All right, Max is still holding number 1, Tanker right behind him at number 2, Anand 3, Blue Tomato, Easy 4. No, sorry, Easy is 5, 3 in a row back in the game.
Excellent.
All right, moving on to the next one. Hopefully you all get this right. All right, round of applause. Okay, so a majority of you got this right. Only 14 people got this wrong. This is a frequently asked question. Shows up every second exam or so. So you have to know the answer to this one. For the 14 people that got this wrong, now you know what you don't know. So get to know this, okay? You need to know this. All right, Max still holding that number 1 position. PSD is making a comeback with 3 in a row, and he's on fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
All right, next one. Frequently asked question as well. All right, so as you can see, we're 12 questions in, okay? And there's only been 2 questions that have never appeared in previous exams, 2 or 3 questions. So you're beginning to see that pattern unfold, okay? So that's the point of the practice sessions. So you begin to see this thing happen. This is frequently asked. If you don't know this, get to know this, you need to know it. Next one. Frequently asked as well. All right, so you need to know this as well. Power sharing in Denmark. So the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary shared between Folketing, the government, and the courts. 19 people got this wrong. Well, now you know what you don't know, get to know. This is frequently asked, so you need to know that. Okay, you're gonna hear me saying the same things over and over again. It's for a reason, because that's how the brain works, through repetition. So please bear with me. It might get annoying, but it's for your own benefit. 3 in a row, MC is back in the game and he's on fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Next one. All right, so this is one of those questions that if you haven't read the book, you wouldn't know the answer to this. However, this was basically the, what do you call it? The referendum on Denmark's relationship with the EU concerning forsvar. So that's, what's that in English? Forsvar, defense, yes. And they decided to scrap their reservations, mainly because of the war in Ukraine. All right, so on to the next one. All right, static topped 5. 9 players have reached an answer streak of 4.
Excellent.
You guys are doing well. Next one. Okay, so this is one of those questions where if you didn't read the book, you will fail the question. If you didn't read the book and you didn't know the answer, or you didn't guess right, because you can also guess for these things if you don't know the answers. Dance Party was created in 1995, around the time where there was a huge uproar in the society about the number of immigrants that were coming to Denmark. And it was started by, what's her name again? What's her name again? Forgotten her name. But it's a protest party started in 1995, first got into parliament in 1998. I can see a lot of people didn't get this right. Yeah, Pierre Kjærsgaard. Thanks, Addis. Well, now you know what you don't know. The people that didn't get this right, now you know what you don't know. Get to know this. This is not a frequently asked question, but it's still important. Next one. All right, 7 players lost the answer streak of 4. Sorry, guys. All right, so we are 15 questions in. We have 30 questions to go. You've seen that out of the 15 questions, about 10 of them are frequently asked. 5 of them you've never seen before. So the pattern is beginning to unfold. I hope you're beginning to see the pattern. All right, moving on to the next one. Torshavn, this is frequently asked, so you will surely be seeing this again. For the people that got this wrong, Max is still holding that #1 spot. Abdul, I can't answer your question right now. We're in the middle of a game. Just follow along if you can't answer, yeah? All right, so this is the Black Death, the plague killed about half the population of Denmark at the time. At the time, the king was Valdemar Attertag, I think. His daughter was actually Margaret the First, who created the Kalmar Union. I'm just trying to create a bit of context around this question. This is frequently asked. You're going to see this again in different forms. I can see a lot of people got this wrong, but do not despair. You will definitely be seeing this again. Next one. All right. I can't remember who fell out, but Max is still holding number one. Aeneas is the highest climber, up 8 places. Okay, next one. All right, round of applause. Okay, so the answer to this question was kind of in the other question. So if you were listening or you knew the answer to the previous one, then you'll definitely get this one right. It does show in the numbers, only 7 people got this wrong. The 7 people that got this wrong, please get to know this. You need to know this. Next one. Okay, so Venkat has taken over Max now at number 1. Let's see what happens next. Aku is making a comeback with 3 in a row, and he's on fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Okay, so this is one of those questions that if you did not read the book, you wouldn't pass this. This is the first time this question is appearing. However, another formula, another pattern is they usually ask questions from the part, I think it's chapter 5, about the authors, the painters, the performing arts, the sculptors. I have basically created quizzes that cover that whole part of the book. So you will be ready for that. I hadn't created quizzes up until this, this group. So that part of the book is covered. There's quizzes on the website. I'll show you the website and I'll show you the quizzes. So moving on to the next one. Let's see who's in the top 5. All right, so Venkat holding number 1. Tanka moved up to number 4. Everybody else stayed the same except Anand. Dem is back with an answer streak of 3.
Excellent.
Okay, so we're almost halfway through. Okay, so this is one of the most frequently asked questions. You're definitely going to see this again. 37 people got this wrong. It doesn't really matter. You're going to see this again. But if you got this wrong, you need to know this. Now you know what you don't know. Next one. All right, so Blue Tomato now at number 2. P is back in the game. Frequently asked question as well. All right. This is a frequently asked question. Usually the answers are different. So what I would recommend is go to the part of the book that talks about, it's usually the state, the commune, and the regions and their responsibilities. Make a list of all the things that the state, the region, and the communes are responsible for, because those come out in different forms in the answers. So in this case, they're asking about the state, and of course, the police is the responsibility of the state. All right, next one. This is frequently asked as well. All right, not bad. Round of applause. Frequently asked question about basically there was a youngsters revolution back in the 60s, towards the time where things were becoming a bit hippie. And later on, Christiania was formed in Freetown. Christiania was created in 1971. So that was also as a result of this revolution going on. All right, next one. Static top 5, Venkat still holding number 1, Blue Tomato right behind him, Max 3, Anand 4, Tanker 5. 8 players just hit an answer streak of 3.
Excellent.
All right, so we are halfway through now. Trick question. Okay, so this is one of those questions that is not frequently asked. If you didn't read the book or you don't guess right, you probably fail this. Okay, so as you can see, we're 23 questions in. We've come across about 5, 6, 7 questions that have never shown up. The rest are frequently asked. So the pattern is beginning to unfold. Only 24 people got this wrong. Not bad. Next one. It didn't affect anyone in the top 5. All right, we're gonna try to get through this as quickly as possible. Frequently asked question. This is about the Second Schleswig War. This is one of the most frequently asked questions. There's about 185 frequently asked questions. I will show you a quiz that contains all of them. I highly recommend that you do that quiz up until you start scoring like 100% in that quiz. You can keep doing it over and over and over again. I'll show you where to find everything. Next one. Max is coming back up. Yes, so Denmark shares, the only land border Denmark shares is with Germany. And consequently, they are the biggest trading partner. This is a semi-frequently asked question. Most of the time, the question is about the EU and not about a specific country. But this time, it was about Germany. Next one. Static top 5. SD is making a comeback 3 in a row.
Excellent.
Frequently asked question as well. Yes, so basically it's asking, can one person be prime minister more than once? And the answer is yes. Case in point, Mette Frederiksen. This is the 2nd time she's prime minister. On to the next one. That's a frequently asked question. Max fell to number 5. Venkat holding number 1. Blue Tomato back at number 2. Anand 3. Tanker 4. Annie is back in the game 3 in a row. She's on fire.
This
Next one. One of the most frequently asked questions. Let's see how you guys do on this. Gold loan is from 1849. So there was some revolutions happening in Europe at the time, the French Revolution being one of the most significant ones. In 1848, the king decided that he was going to scrap the absolute monarchy, and the people were asking him to create a constitution for the people, and he did. He agreed, and he created Riesdain, so the first parliament, which was made up of two instances, which was made up of, I think it's Lansting and Riesdain. I think there was two of them. No, Folketing and Lansting were there, but later on, Lansting got scrapped. But anyways, that's to create a bit of context around this question. You're going to see this question again. So there are 14 people that got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. You need to know the answer to this. This is required knowledge. If there's anything you need to know, it's that actually. On to the next one. Frequently asked as well. All right, round of applause. Only 10 people got this wrong. Frequently asked. There is a formula. So there's regional elections, communal elections, and of course the elections for parliament. So, and also the European parliament elections. So it's 4-4-5. So every 4 years for parliament, every 4 years for regional and communal elections, and every 5 years for European parliament elections. So remember that. Next one. Okay, not too bad. Only just half of you failed this, 39. But anyways, this is one of those questions where if you didn't read the book, you wouldn't know the answer to this. And if you didn't guess it right, you'd fail it. So we've come across another one of these now. Next one. Venkat still holding number one. You're going to see this over and over and over again. Or if you don't get it right this time, you're going to get it right next time. All right. So, Helle Thorning-Schmidt, first female prime minister, Social Democratic Party, elected in 2011. So about 12 years ago. So not too long ago. Second female prime minister is Mette Frederiksen. Same party, Social Democratic Party. You're going to see this again and again and again. On to the next one. Frequently asked as well. All right, so only 22 people got this wrong. This is a frequently asked question. Stounsbund is about the agreement that the king made with the nobles in 1733 that So the law was that if you were a peasant working on one of the nobles' farms, you were not allowed to leave that farm for 40 years. Well, I think from when you were born until you were 40. And this lasted for, when did it end? 1788, so 50 something years before they got rid of this in the land board reforms. So the agrarian reforms. But you're going to see this again. 22 people got this wrong. Now you know what you don't know. Get to know this because you're going to see this again. All right, so it's Venkat, Blue Tomato, Tanker, Anand, and Easy. Jai is making a comeback with 3 in a row, and he's on fire.
Oh my! He's on fire!
We have 14 questions to go. We are almost at current affairs. Frequently asked as well. So the ombudsman is basically an entity that was appointed, or that is appointed by the Folketing, and its job, it is an independent entity, and its job is actually to monitor the authorities, the public authorities, to make sure that there isn't any negligence or misconduct when they're handling cases with the public. It's actually appointed by Folketing, so it's questionable how independent it is. But anyways, that's the explanation in the book. And this is a frequently asked question. 20 people got this wrong, so 20 of you. Now you know what you don't know. Plug the knowledge gap. Moving on to the next one. All right, not much is happening in the top 5. All right, so this is not frequently asked, but if you read the book, then you would know the answer to this. But I mean, the United Nations goals are everywhere, so it's easy to guess this correctly. But anyways, this is an example of a question that hasn't shown up in the previous exam. Next one. Okay, so a lot of you are from the 90s, I guess. But anyways, yes, this is not a frequently asked question, and if you're not from the 90s or you didn't read the book, you'd get this wrong. So as you can see, we're 34 questions in. Majority of them were frequently asked questions, and a minority were not frequently asked questions. So that kind of supports the point I was trying to make before, where if you practice all the previous exams, you've got at least half of the exam covered. And then the other half, read the book and practice with quizzes, which I will show you. All right, moving on to the last history question. Venkat is number 1, Blue Tomato number 2, Tanker number 3, Anand 4, Easy 5. 8 players have reached an answer streak of 5.
Excellent.
All right, next one. Last one. right, so this is not a frequently asked question. However, with a bit of common sense, if you don't know the answer to this, you could actually guess the right answer. This is about Daopeng. And since 1994, the Daopeng period has shortened, obviously because of funds. All right, so we're moving on to current affairs. The current affairs also has a pattern. I will be talking about the theme of the current affairs. And these are the themes that you should keep in mind when you're looking in the news to find out what's relevant, because most of the current affairs is from the news. So from TV2, DR, and everywhere else. All right, moving on. So just before current affairs, static top 5, next one. All right, so this is kind of like a no-brainer because most people, Tour de France actually happened in Denmark. But the theme of this is a Danish person doing well on the world stage, okay? So it could be sports, it could be movies, it could be whatever, as long as it's the world stage and the person is Danish, or a Danish team that has just won a major competition on the world stage. An example would be for the arts would be when Thomas Vinterberg won the Oscar for Druk in 2021. So that was actually a current affairs question in 2021. Jonas Vingegaard won Tour de France. It showed up. I knew that was going to show up. And then I think Susanna Bier won something. I can't remember. That showed up as well. But keep an eye out for basically Danish sports teams, Danish individuals, Danish artists, actors, whoever, doing well in the news. Keep an eye out for that. So that's the theme for this. Next one. Okay, so the theme of this is an election year. So whenever there is an election year, there's usually questions about the new parties that were created. So in this case, they were asking about Denmark's Demokraterne, so Inger Støjberg. This happened, I think this test was taken in October, if I can't, no, November. And the results were not out. The government hadn't been formed. So in the next test that you guys are actually going to be taken, there most likely will be questions about members of government, so who the ministers are, and what happened during the election. So that's the theme of this. So during an election year, there's always questions about the election, most probably questions about new parties that were formed. Of course, they're not going to ask that again. What I think they're going to ask about is ministers. And as we get closer to the exam, I will create a quiz with all the ministers in the government. And we will practice with that quiz. And I will create that quiz and put that on the website. You can practice by yourself as well. All right, next one. And please, if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay, so I can see more than half of you failed this. the theme of this is some kind of not a scandal, but like a major event that happened in Denmark. This was when the gas pipeline exploded, and there was some kind of speculation that it was detonated with a bomb or something. But this happened. This is Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2. And it happened in the North Sea, close to Denmark's coast. So this was basically going to show up because it's a big thing, right? And it's also connected, kind of connected to the Ukraine war. All right. Yes, and yes, so Zadan just posted store bill day. That question is definitely showing up in the current affairs for your test, the next test coming up. Well, there's a 90-something% chance of it showing up. All right, next one. All right, so like I said, during an election year, there are always questions about the election. And as you can see, this showed up again. And this time is just asking about the participation in the election. And usually in the Folketing election, the participation is between 85 to 90%. So 80 to 90% historically. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Yes, so Iman just asked, if you fail more than one Danish value question, you fail the whole test. It doesn't matter if you got 100% in all the others, okay? So keep that in mind. So we're moving to the last current affairs question now, before we go to Danish values. All right, so in July, there was a mass shooting in Fields. So that was a big crisis. The theme of this is crises in the States. So the previous one was the Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2. This one is the mass shooting that happened in Fields. So that's the theme of this. So keep an eye out for the big crises, scandals as well. You're going to see more themes. As we keep going through the exams, you see more themes popping up, but the ones I've discussed here are included. All right, so we're moving on to Danish values. Last 5 questions. All right, so the theme of this is actually gender equality, right? So men have the same, have equal rights as women. And basically you can get thrown in jail if either a male or a female forces anyone to get married for religious purposes. As we get closer, I will go through a theme. I'll go through the pattern of the Danish values questions. However, there's already a YouTube video where I explain that, and I'll show you where to find all that. All right, moving on. right, so this question is about child abuse. And even if someone under the age of 15 gives you consent, you cannot have sex with them. And that's what this question is about. And of course, the answer is no. Even if they give you, even if, you know, they're a child. All right, moving on to the next one. All right, so, Venkat has a streak with 41 correct answers in a row. We've done 42 questions, so he's only failed one. If he had gotten 42 questions right, I would have given him the explosion, but it's looking like Venkat is going to be one of the superstars in this group. Let's see how things unfold, but he's number one. Round of applause. Good job, man. Keep up the good work. We've got 3 questions to go. Yes, so it's illegal to assault your spouse, whether male or female, gender equality again. On to the next one. We're almost done. Yes. So Danish values questions are always yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. So they're super easy, actually. The trick is to make sure you understand what the question is asking, because sometimes it can be a bit confusing. So you're going to hear me say this over and over again. The exam is not a Kahoot, okay? Take your time, read the question slowly, and then go ahead and answer the question. You have 1 minute per question. So it's 45 minutes for 45 questions. All right, so we're moving on to the last one. It's a static top 5. Right now we have Venkat, Blue Tomato, Tanker, Anand, and Bomb. Laura is back with an answer streak of 3, and she's on fire.
This girl is on fire.
All right, last question. All right, 12 people got this wrong. I'm guessing you didn't read the question properly. But anyways, the theme here is gender equality. And this Danish values question had appeared in the previous exam. So if you had practiced with the previous exam, you would know the answer to this. This is the last question. And just before closing, I'll reiterate what I said before. Look, the formula to passing this exam is simple. Take the quizzes over and over and over and over again until you know the answers to those frequently asked questions. Like if someone wakes you up at 6 a.m. and asks you a question, you're going to know the answer to it. Practice like that. And then read the book. Go through it slowly. Make notes. Underline whatever, do what you need to do. And there will also be quizzes based on the book that I'll be putting out. Every day, I put out a daily quiz, one for Melbo Escape's poem, one for INDFØDSRETSPRØVEN poem. Okay? Just follow that formula and you will pass. Come to the sessions and you will pass. So let's have a look at the podium. I will show you the book. I'll show you the book. All right, Tanker number 3, Blue Tomato number 2, and Venkat at number 1. All right, so we have Anand and Bum 4 and 5.